What is happening, y'all? Nick here, bringing you another Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel video, and in today's video we're going to be going over the brand new ban list that just got announced last night in-game for Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel. This list will be going into effect on December 5th, which is, about a week before the new pack releases, give or take. I don't know exactly when the new one will be releasing, but it's sometime, about, 5 to 7 days before that pack comes out. And honestly, this list is very interesting. I think after the DC Cup ended and we got like a weird ban list that didn't really do anything, we were like, okay, well, what's happening here? Maybe the new pack is going to really change the meta. And then the new pack came out and it didn't really change the meta. So we were all kind of confused about like what's going on. Like, are they not going to address purely, or what's going to happen here? And we finally got like what I consider to be a real ban list. I don't know how much it's going to do, but I do consider it to be a real ban list. So before we jump into the actual list, let's just take a look at the tier list really quickly. Now this is, we do need to preface this by saying this is a tier list for community tournaments, right? So do with that what you will. There's a lot of different ways people play Master Duel. Some people only play tournaments. Well, I think most people just play ladder, but some people only play ladder. Some people play ladder and tournaments. Some people play ladder, tournaments, and like leagues. Some people just play leagues and ladder. There's a lot of different ways you can play Master Duel, and depending on the circle you're running in, this tier list is going to be kind of fluid, right? In some situations, some decks are better than others, right? And what I personally do is I play all three. I play a lot of ladder, I play tournaments, and I play in leagues, and the meta is different no matter, like, everywhere you go. So just because matchups are different, like just because counter picking is different, like you know what your opponent's playing before you go into a game, so on and so forth, right? So take this tier list with a grain of salt, depending on how you play Master Duel, but it is a nice guide to go off of, right? And it also helps us understand like maybe why Konami did what they did. Also looking at the Duelist Cup results, ladder results is really, I think, how Konami makes their decisions. But anyways, that's enough rambling. Let's jump into this. The first thing we got is Zodiac Trident, going from 1 to 3. To be honest, I don't really think it's going to do anything. I don't really know why it took this long for this to go to 1 to 3, from 1 to 3. I really don't know why it's banned in the TCG and OCG. I got no idea why it's banned in those two formats, but maybe someone knows. Maybe someone knows more than me. But the only thing I could really see this doing is there is a going second Kashtira Zodiac deck running around. It's not exactly meta. It's not super popular, anything like that, but it is a deck that does things, and can be kind of scary, right? Because your Kashtira cards are naturally very good at going second. You can play a lot of hand traps because the engines are not too big in either one of those decks, so you can play a decent amount of board breakers or hand traps. And you can use your breakers, hand traps, and Kashtira cards to really, beat through your opponent's interruptions. Then you can just slap down a Zodiac, go up into a Borbo, attack directly, make like a 6 material Zeus, and pretty much just win the game from there, right? That deck in particular benefits a lot from this because now you can play 2 Tridents, right? So you can make your 6 material Zeus or whatever number it is, and then you still have nice follow-up on your opponent's on your next turn, right? So you can continue doing Zodiac stuff on your follow-up turns. So that's nice. Other than that, I really don't know what this will be played in. I mean, sometimes we see decks that can make rank 4s go for a small Zodiac package, but it's really you're not going to be playing multiple Tridents in a deck like Vanquish Soul, right? Then we have Cobalt Sparrow going from 2 to 3. I think this is a fairly impactful hit because this deck is really strong. It's super underrated. Every one of my tier lists lately, I've been putting this pretty high up, and my Master Duel meta is not loading. Well, that's embarrassing. Okay, there we go. Yeah, so I've been putting this deck pretty high up in the on my personal tier list the past couple months because I see this deck a lot more than I think a lot of other people do, because one of my teammates plays it. Actually, multiple of my teammates play it. I play in a lot of tournaments and leagues where a deck like this is a lot better compared to something like ladder. Not that it's bad on ladder by any means, but it just doesn't see a lot of play on ladder, Like, no, I don't care. I don't remember the last time I ran into someone on ladder or in a Duelist Cup that was playing this, right? And I think that's more than anything the reason that this has been getting like all this stuff come off the ban list recently. You know, we had Tenki come off, Fractal come off, Sparrow come off, and now this deck is at quote unquote full power, right? It's full power. And Sparrow being a card now that we have it 3 is going to go a long way because this is one of the cards that really helps you play through interruptions going second. Obviously, the deck is insane going first, you know, being able to put up cards like Samorg, Robin, DDL, Apex Avion, so on and so forth, like Search DD Crow, Harpy's Featherstorm, whatever it might be. So going first, we know how good the deck is. We all know how good it is. Going second, however, Sparrow is really interesting because an Exceed monster, a Wind XYZ monster that was summoned using this card on the field as material, gains targeting protection. Cannot be targeted by, your opponent cannot target this card with card effects. So, this makes Noir not be able to spin your XYZs. So you're able to go into stuff like Recital Starling, Assembled Nightingale, untargetable, to then, you know, continue extending, attack directly to be able to turn on Zeus lines, potentially OTK your opponent from the Assembled Starling, like lethal lines, or win trade, like, you know, draw the game, I should say, by, you know, doing that same thing, right? It's very interesting, and I think this could impact like tournament play and like, you know, league play a lot more than ladder play. So this is a very interesting hit. I like it a lot, especially because I have teammates that play it. Moving on to semi-limits, we got Signet Mining going from 3 to 2. This is obviously just a consistency hit for Cyber decks, particularly Math Mech. And they did this, in my opinion, because they didn't want to give us URCP back for Circular. I might be wrong, but that's what I'm thinking. The only two options for Konami, or the only two like ways of thinking about this would be, okay, we're going to try to hit Math Mech in a way that we didn't do it in the OCG or TCG because maybe we hit it too hard there. I don't know. I don't really think they did. But we're going to try to hit it differently there to make the deck more viable. I don't know. Or we don't want to refund them CP. I think it's the latter, but everyone's going to have their own opinion about that. But overall, I mean, like, it's one less copy of Circular, so I'm here for it. Then we got Tempest next, going from 1 to 2. Oh yeah, so this is going from 3 to 2. This is going from 1 to 2. And Tempest, honestly, like, this is seeing play in stuff like Dragoonity, Armed Dragon, if you consider that a real deck, Dragoonity, if you consider it a real deck. Sometimes you can play it in Dragon Link, but it's not really too popular. Most people don't play it in Dragon Link. I can't remember the last time I saw it, but technically you can. And, I mean, it's a really good card. I mean, Tempest is a great card. All the Dragon Rulers are good, but they're not, like, standalone powerful enough anymore. Like, they're not as good as they used to be, right? One day, maybe, if we get all of them unbanned, we can see Dragon Rulers come back. I think that'd be sick. I don't know how good it would be, but it'd be cool to see it. So, anyways, yeah. Doubt this will do anything. But it is a nice boost. Like, you know, it's uncluttering the ban list. I like that. This can just come to 3. Then we got Pot of Desires going from 3 to 2. To be honest, I don't really know why this is happening now. I'm happy it's happening because I do not like, you know, the pot cards. I hate Prosperity. I hate Extravagance. I hate Desires. Like, I think they're all toxic. I think none of them should be in the game, to be honest. But that might be a controversial statement. I don't know. I definitely think Prosp should be gone. Like, I think that card is absolutely ridiculous. And Extrav in this, just literally, they're pot of greed for decks that can play them. And, you know, that's insane. So, I'm glad this got hit. I don't know why it got hit now. Because nothing was really playing this. That was, like, meta-relevant. Maybe Runic Stun got it hit. Not sure. Then we got Quick Launch and Chaos Space going from 3 to 2. I think these are really just hits to Dragon Link because they didn't want to give us URCP back by banning Chaos Ruler. Honestly, I think that's the only justification for this. I don't think there's a world where you rationally say, we should hit Chaos Space and Quick Launch over Chaos Ruler. That's just my opinion. I also think Lebellion would have been a better hit, but I don't think they want to give us his UR back. And also, like, you might not want to hit Lebellion because Lebellion is played in, like, a lot of different decks, right? So maybe you don't want to hit it because you want other decks to be able to, like, you want, like, more quote-unquote pure Bestial decks to still be a thing. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, these are fine consistency hits. The deck is probably just going to, like, adapt to play less cards because the average deck size is, like, 48, so it is, pretty thick. So I suspect this just to drop a little bit. Maybe it drops down to, like, a 45, 46 card, list more consistently. I mean, some people play it, like, between 40 and 44 already. Some people play it from 50 to 60. It just depends on, like, how you want to go about building it, and it's a very, like, individually... The individual has a lot of autonomy over how they want to build Dragon Link, which is one reason that I really love the deck. But I suspect seeing these consistency hits, we're just going to see, like, a natural drop in the average, deck size. But, we'll see. I could be wrong. Then we have Purely and Delicious going from 3 to 2. I definitely saw this one coming, obviously. I think we all saw Delicious coming. Actually, I'm just going to go and pull this up really quickly. Do it like this. I think we all saw Delicious getting hit in some capacity, whether it went down to 1 or whether it went down to 2, because it needed it, right? I mean, Delicious is the card that basically guarantees that your opponent's going to, set up a Noir going first. On turn 1, going first. Once we get the little baby Noir, right, you're going to be able to summon Big Noir in a multitude of different ways. You can get it off Sleepy. You can use My Friend to get Sleepy, or you can use My Friend to get Delicious to be able to access Noir by going through Plump or going through, Noir here. However, this obviously makes the deck more susceptible to cards like Book of Moon, Book of Eclipse, Red Reboot, so on and so forth, right? It makes the deck more susceptible to a lot more cards than the Plump lines do. And yeah, I mean, at this point, we're kind of just waiting to get Baby Noir, which I think this hit kind of telegraphs that it's going to be in the next pack. I obviously don't have any insider information or anything like that, but I think this hit telegraphs that, because I don't know if they would want to hit this deck and make this deck, like, not good, because I don't know. I mean, it'll still be good, obviously, but I don't know if they'd want to risk it being bad for a full month just to release Baby Noir like a month later. But I could be wrong. We could not get this in December, and we have to deal with, like, a month of purely just sacking us, right? Because now it's going to get to a point where if your opponent goes My Friend Reveal 3, every time they hit Delicious, you're going to be rolling your eyes. Like, you're just going to be pissed. When they don't hit it, you're going to be happy, but when they do hit it, you're just going to be like, God damn it. Like, that sucks, So I don't know. I think this probably telegraphs a Noir release in December, but we'll see. Anyways, in the meantime, how is this deck going to be played? I think we could see a rise in popularity in the Trap card, right? I think we could see people starting to play, 2 to 3 copies of the Trap to try to hard draw it more, to try to hit it off our White Cat more, also to try to shuffle back our White Cats more frequently so we can continue summoning them on our turn 1 to kind of avoid this only having 2. I don't know if that's going to be the right way to play it, because, if you're going first and you have, like, if you open multiple Trap cards in your hand going first, like, they're not even proactive like the Field Spell is, because the Field Spell at least gives you targeting protection, where the Trap is kind of just discard fodder at that point. So, I don't know. I think it lowers the power level of the deck. It lowers the ceiling of the deck. Well, no, technically it doesn't lower the ceiling of the deck, but it lowers the consistency and, I guess, quote-unquote power level of the deck, right? So I'm really curious to see how this is going to work out. I think Purely is still going to be what I consider to be a meta-defining and meta-warping deck. Same with Kashtira. I think Purely and Cash are, like, the meta-warpers that we currently have. Not that Kashtira is as good as Purely or anything like that. I think there's a lot of decks better than Kashtira. But if you're not prepared for Kashtira, you're going to lose to it. If you're not prepared for Purely, then or now, you're going to lose to it. So it might stay to tier 1. It might drop down to tier 2. We'll see. I will talk about more about my thoughts on that when I do a tier list video, which I probably will try to get out sometime soon, even before the new pack. We'll see. Then I think the last, oh no, it's not the last one. The last semi-limit is Stovey Torby going from 3 to 2. This does a few things for Labyrinth. Obviously, I don't think it does enough for Labyrinth. I think they could have hit this deck harder. I really think they should have just banned D-Barrier and banned Virus. I really don't know why they just keep on keeping these cards in the game. Like, it's really stupid that these cards are still legal, but whatever. These are the only problem with Labyrinth. If these cards were banned and the floodgates were banned, Labyrinth would be, like, sick. I think Labyrinth is a really cool engine and a really cool deck, except the fact that you can set floodgates from your deck. I just don't like that. But anyways, what does Torby do? Hitting Torby makes it so, obviously, seeing one of your, furniture pieces, Chandelier or Stovey Torby, on your opponent's first turn. So they go first, you start with 5 cards as a Labyrinth player going second. It means you're going to see this less, slightly less. It also means you're going to see one of these plus Coup Clock less. That math is really what we're getting at here, right? So having 5 of these and 1 of these, or whatever it is, means you're going to see obviously a lot less than if you have 6 of these and 1 of these, right? I could go into the math, but no one wants to sit here and watch me do math, right? Now this could kind of be compensated for by just playing 2 clocks now, 2 clocks, 2 Stovies, 3 Chandeliers, which some people were doing anyways. That's probably what we'll see happen. I don't know, but also this also hits the deck in a few weird ways. It makes it so Chaos Angel is going to be less easy to summon, because if you don't have this in your hand already and maybe you don't need to search top Ari because you need to search something else, it's going to put that level 2 in rotation less frequently to be able to go for Chaos Angel with Stovey plus Lady or Lovely, which is, it's something, because this is the one that summons back onto the field as opposed to Chandelier, which adds back to the hand, which is how we normally did our Chaos Angel lines. Also, you don't see it here, but this deck can play Sprite Elf. Not that many have been doing it, but the deck can play Sprite Elf and Gigantic Sprite to summon this back out from the graveyard or to summon it out from the deck, right? Now, generally, you probably already need something like that in rotation to be able to do it, but it is something that we've seen Labyrinth do, and that's going to be less consistent now, which is, I guess, something, but I don't know. Anyways, overall, I think this is a pretty lame hit for Lab. It changes the math slightly, but it doesn't actually address the problem with Lab, whereas something with Purely, this does sometimes address the problem with Purely. Not always, but sometimes. So, I don't know. This seems just like a compensation. This seems just Konami's just trying to make us happy by hitting Lab, quote-unquote hitting Lab. Then for cards that are going to be limited, we got Runic Fountain here going from 2 to 1. Thank the Lord. This is needed to happen for a really long time. Something I like about this, let me just search it here. Something I like about this set is for Runic Naturia, we're not going to have access to go, start turn, summon Hugin, dump Tree, search Fountain, search Camellia, then go activate Fountain, normal summon Camellia, synchro into Coral Dragon, activate a runic spell, keep on playing. I said that terribly. Oh my lord, I said that so bad. It's not going to allow you to do the double cycle of field spell on your first turn with the Gary line. I should have said it. I said it terribly. So if you open one Fountain and you search the second, I should have said, you go start off your turn, summon Hugin, discard Tree, search Camellia, search Fountain, activate Fountain, summon Camellia, send whatever you want to send, synchro into Coral Dragon, activate a runic spell, draw a few cards, replace Fountain, activate a runic spell, summon Gary, Gary adds back, Fountain draws, synchro into Baron, draw more cards of Coral Dragon. Plays like that aren't going to be happening anymore. And I am so sorry that I butchered that line at first. My bad. But it's nice that we're not going to be seeing multiple Fountains resolving in a turn anymore. Also, if Fenrir banishes this, it's gone. Cosmic Cyclone banishes it, it's gone. We're chilling. It also obviously is a Runic Stun hit, which we all wanted. Runic Sprite, Fur Hire, it's not really too much of a hit from them because those decks didn't really use double fountain combos anyways. Not nearly as much as like Naturia did. So it's less of a hit to those, which I'm fine with because I think Naturia was the best version. But anyways. Yeah. Then the last hit I think here, we got Mathmech Diameter going from 3 to 1. So this is interesting. This is another way they decided to hit Mathmech as opposed to hitting Circular. I don't know if I love it, but it is what it is. It means that when your opponent goes, Circular, send Sigma summon back out, Circular, search the trap, overlay into the Exceed search, you impermanent or Veiler it, there is a much better chance that your Mathmech opponent's not going to have Diameter in their hand. That's really all this changes. Because this is still searchable in combo, assuming you go in uninterrupted. Now, however, this does hurt the follow-up, right? Because even though it's become less popular recently, something that Mathmech was doing for a while was going... Yeah, see, it's not even on here anymore. Mathmech for a while was going Cyber's Wicked in combo, then summoning something to his own at points 2, you then banish something from graveyard to then search a follow-up Diameter for next turn. Now that's something, like I said, Mathmech hasn't been doing in a while because the extra deck has gotten so compact with cards like, Terahertz, Link Decoder, Aggregator, Save Worm, G-Golem, blah blah blah. But it is something that they were doing for a while, so this definitely hurts the follow-up on Mathmech, which I like. But it comes at a weird time, right? Because Diameter is one of the normal summons, right? Diameter is a card that you normal summon 9 out of 10 times in Mathmech. And you usually played 2 to 3 of this in Mathmech. But Firewall Defensor just came out, which is also a normal summon. So there is a little bit of confliction here between Diameter and Firewall. And Diameter going to 1 and Silent Mining going to 2, I think just promotes the play of Firewall package more. So does this actually really change anything with Mathmech? In my opinion, no. It means that Imperm and Veiler might be slightly better against the deck, but I think that's about it. So yeah, overall, decent list. What is happening, Master Duel meta? Overall, it's a decent list. I'm glad Purely got hit. I'm glad Runic got hit. I'm glad Dragons got hit. Did I already say Mathmech? I'm glad Runic, Mathmech, Dragons, and Purely and Kinda Lab all got hit. Yeah, I mean, it is what it is, right? It's a ban list. I don't know how much this will change. I think we might see Purely drop down a little bit more. I think maybe Dragon Link is the best deck in the game. I don't know. That seems kind of crazy. But only time will tell, right? And this is probably going to be short-lived because in a few weeks we're going to have a brand new pack, which could change the meta completely. So anyways, let me know in the comment section down below what you guys think about this ban list. I hope everyone is happy with it. I hope people are more optimistic about some of the hits than I am. I think that the Mathmech hits are a little cope. I think the Dragon Link hits are cope, and the Lab hits definitely cope. But I think the Purely and Runic hits are definitely real. So yeah, let me know in the comment section down below what you think, and I will see y'all in the next video. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Peace.